Welcome to another edition of Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. Today is episode 22, and it's making it as a middle class. I was trying to figure out what to call this, what to name it here. You know, everybody, you need some like fancy dancy stuff to catch people's attention. I thought about doing middle class survival, all kinds of different things here, but the inspiration for the show, basically to get you guys hooked, I guess, is that I'm very concerned about what's going on with middle class, with inflation and things like that. We've been talking a lot about that lately, and just watched some informative information and educating myself further on how money works and what's going on in the world, and it is very, very concerning. And I want to talk today about, is it worth it being a millionaire? Is it worth it being, middle class? I don't think we need to say anything about being poor. But that's kind of what we can do about it, what we can kind of understand, and again, getting our mindsets and philosophy straight so that we can figure out why we're struggling and how we're going to get out of the struggle. So excuse the background noise. That's my F-350 pickup truck. I'm on my work commute here, and that's how we do these shows. But let's jump right into it. So the first question is being rich, being wealthy, a millionaire, even worth it? Now, I'd ask you to go look around you at people who are wealthy that you know of. Now, I personally, when I think about it, I can't think of one person that I know who is a well-to-do. Some of them are near, some of them have $1 million in the bank, so I guess they would be considered a millionaire. They've got retirement set up. They've worked their whole life. A lot of these people look miserable. I said this a lot in the lifetime of in the past shows. It's very difficult to find somebody who's got the equilibrium. And this is very concerning. This is very dangerous, because the people I do know who are very wealthy people are on anxiety medications. For instance, one guy that I know, he comes home and every Saturday he takes his meds, and it gets him high, gets him docile. He lays in bed all day Saturday. That's his one day to just decompress from it all. That's horrible. What are you doing in your life that makes you feel so stressed like that? But no matter whether you're stressed or not, the way the economy and things are moving forward here in 2021, life moves on with or without you. And a lot of it has to do with a misconception of what it takes to be a millionaire. I think a lot of people they want the cash, they want to win the lottery, they want to, they want to make some get rich. That's why these get rich schemes, these people out there selling these books and courses and things like that, how to get rich fast. They're making tons of money off people. And how many millionaires do we have out there? The number actually has climbed, and it's very interesting. We're going to talk about that. But is it worth it? It's not. I don't think it is what you think. And if you start looking into it, I think the problem is a lot of us haven't really educated ourselves on money and things, which we're going to talk about here. And we think that it's all easy. One thing you're going to find from millionaires and wealthy people is that they never really had anything to defend, right? If you have no money and you have no assets and things like that, you're not really preoccupied with that. You're more preoccupied with making the money. Then we see people like football stars, rock stars, people win the lottery, and what happens? The majority of them say, of the lottery winners say it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. They ended up losing everything. A lot of rock stars, movie stars, and where are they now? A lot of people, because of mismanagement of money and not educating themselves to understand how financials work and become financial literate, they end up losing everything. So being rich, being a millionaire, the amount of work and things that you have to do is very compelling. And I actually have a newfound respect for millionaires. And I'm not defending anybody. On this show, we like to look at what is, what isn't, and what is. Or what is the possibilities? Like, these are all just my opinions. I'm not saying this is exactly the truth and this is what is. But when I read about what a lot of these people do, what they had to do to maintain their money, to get ahead, especially those who came from nothing, it's a lot of work. And I think it's a lot of work that a lot of us, we need to face. We need to come out of the closet of ourselves. And we need to understand that, we're not rich because we're not willing to put in that type of work. We're not willing to educate ourselves and study about to become financial literate. And that's why we are middle class and a lot of us are poor, me included. I consider myself a thousandaire. I'm middle class, but I designed my life where I'm a hybrid, I think, between the two. I get to have certain luxuries. I just don't have the $1 million. So, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Let me know if you guys want to hear more about my stuff. I feel like I'm talking about me, and I kind of want to talk about more stuff that can help you guys out. So consider taking a look at what these millionaires have to do and continually to do. Now, is it worth it being middle class? I think no. I think that we have the safety, we have the security, I think a false sense of security and safety. Because when you look at statistics and the numbers, 7 out of 10 Americans barely has a few $1,000s, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in the bank. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're living high on the hog, and they're living way beyond their wages. They're not acting their wages, as Mr. Dave Ramsey likes to say. And as I like to say, act below your wages. That way you're able to save something or invest to buy assets and things like that. But I think that we truly are, if we are upset, and this is just one side of the coin, and you are middle class, it's because we haven't studied enough about assets and liabilities and things of that nature. Do we even need to say, is it worth it to be poor? But and I know what your answer probably is. No, it's not. But think about the poor. Remember I was talking about if I can physically put my eyes on somebody that I know who's successful and has happiness in their face and their eyes. Are their eyes glowing? Are they happy to see me? Yes, they're happy to see me. Their eyes glow for a little while, then it dulls back out. They're on probably at least 5, 10 different medications. A lot of them are overweight. A lot of them don't look so good. And they're not really cool to chill out with. Those people you can have a beer with, and hang out with, have a barbecue, and they make you laugh, and it's like a really, really good time. And you're like, wow, that was really awesome. It's very simple. These people are easy to go and make you feel good. I think a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them that I've met, I'm not saying that all rich people, that you shouldn't be a millionaire, that everybody's sad. I'm just saying I've never really met one that's got it all together. Now, I haven't met any poor who have it all together, but the one thing I do know, and it's a lot of our Latino community, I'm in construction and stuff like that, and I'm just an all-around person. I like meeting people, and the Latino community likes to party really hard. They dance and sing, and they really have a good time, but poor, very poor people. Middle class, not all of them. I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying that when you look in their faces, these people are truly happy, and they'll give you the shirt off their backs, and they're not defending their castle or anything because they have nothing really to defend. So I ask myself, and maybe you are as well, is there a way to hybridize, to pull these two together? I want to be somewhat wealthy. I don't care to really be a millionaire. I just want to be able to have residual incomes in to be able to live my life without having to worry where's my next paycheck's going to come from. And that's exactly what I did for myself. That's why I'm here. I'm looking to definitely up my game in different ways. But to hybridize and pick the best of the best. That's what I've done for my life. Is we have a lot of information out there on all kinds of different things. And what I've done is I've cherry picked. What makes sense to me? Going out there and educating myself, as I said. What makes sense to me? What are the things that I want? I think how do you go after something if you don't know what you're after, right? Well, you can have a bow and arrow, but you have no target. You have nothing to hit. So you aim for these things. You search for these things, and you experience and you experiment. And then you find things like I've designed here, which I call the alternative lifestyle design, the alternatives to being poor or rich, or even being middle class. Where can we grab all the best of the best and what fits our lives? So to give you guys perspective of some of the things that are going on here in the world right now, this is the mid-June of 2021, is that our economy has moved from production, right, from like making things. So basically the way I understood it was that we've had to produce a bunch of corn, let's say, and the United States, produced so much corn that it fed everybody. We had so much extra surplus, we were able to sell it to other people. So not everybody had to be a corn farmer. Now people were like, well, there's plenty of corn that I can go and buy, but I can do things as dentistry or roofing construction or a painting contractor, all kinds of different things, and then I can trade that money for food. And that was the wealth, that was the assets, that was what drove the economy, was producing something. And whoever produced things, now, if that makes sense to you, had power. They had something to sell, something to trade. Whereas what's happening now is it's moving more into assets. So hopefully you guys have been following enough to understand what assets and liabilities are. Assets, basically what's happening is a lot of people who are becoming wealthy right now, You see, we have a K-shaped recovery in this recession. There's people going down, and there's people making lots of money. And the people who are making lots of money is not because they own or are producing things such as corn, apples, and things like that. What they're doing is they're owning the land that the corn and apples are produced on, and they're collecting the rent. So it's becoming to where our economy, instead of working to get to produce things, the people who are coming up and the place of power, the place of where the money is residing in assets. People owning mostly real estate, I guess is the best way to explain it. They're owning the field which the game is being played on. And well, so what's happening is this is a trap. This is a false sense of security for the poor and for the middle class and the upper middle class, even the lower rich, the lower millionaires. $1 million isn't exactly what it used to be. Hence, that's why you see a lot of people will lose. They'll invest and they'll lose a lot, if not all of it, a giant chunk. So we're on the question I want to jump ahead of here is: are we fighting a fixed war? And what I see is yes. And I think that's why I'm coming out here and saying this message to people, is that we need to understand where we're at and what's going on. And I think a lot of people, as I said, are not willing to. I don't want to say lazy because that sounds like obtrusive, it sounds mean. But really, I look at myself and I call myself lazy. I should have been understanding these things a long, long time ago. It's like us with this recession and a lot of these things where the world's moving, is that all the people making money understood these things. They've been playing ball for a long time, right? It's like playing football. And I'm showing up to the football game and I don't even know how to kick a field goal, right? I know what the football is. I know that there's a field. I just don't understand all the rules and all the things, the ways of actually winning the game. But I can sure run, but that doesn't get me far before somebody tackles me, These people are quarterbacks and running backs, linebackers. They know how to play the game, and they've been at it for a very long time. So we can't expect to just come in and start playing the game immediately. And that's what's happening. Those of us who don't understand how to play the game of assets and liabilities and start moving with the way our culture, the way money is migrating towards, the way it's mutating, the way it's changing, evolving into, there's a better word, we're going to get left behind. And I think that a lot of us are going to remain poor, and we're going to remain in the struggle until we understand. I want you guys to understand too, the IRS, the taxation of us people, 10% of the literature, 10 to 20%, I can't remember what it was, is the reasons and the laws of why you need to pay taxes and how you need to pay taxes. The rest of it is all there for anybody. There's nobody hiding it from you. It's how to not pay taxes. There's a bunch of loopholes. There's a bunch of where's all the tax write-offs? So equally, they have it all there for us. We just chose not to understand the financial literacy of things and educate ourselves to understand that language and to start figuring out, how do I not pay taxes? Or how do I pay the least amount of taxes? So it's all right there, and it's all for free for us. So are we fighting a fixed war? I think, yeah, but a lot of us like to point, this is empowering too, this is a positive. A lot of us like to point the finger outwards and say it's the man, it's the taxation, it's the corporations and things like that. Well, it is true that a lot of us are trapped. I don't think we're trapped forever, but we are stuck for the time being. But a lot of it has to do with our own personal mindsets. As I said, all the information is there for you. It's your choice to step out and to understand, utilize it, and start getting yourself out of the hole. Unless you like the comfort and the safety. So the provisions, the safety and security of things I look at as a false sense of security. As I said, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, the majority of us. That's why we have lots of problems. I think we're going to have a lot of problems happening if things don't shape up. I would suggest, too, I don't have time to put it in the show, as for you guys to understand what inflation is and to also understand what deflation is. And a lot of economists are saying right now that we have an equal amount of both. And if deflation hits, prices of things go down, and that's great. But then they keep going down, and that could be a horrible thing too. So it's good for you to understand right now, I would say, and maybe we should do one. Maybe I should do a show. I need to know from you guys. It's Resilientlpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you guys want to hear about how I'm doing for you. But I think we're sitting on a false sense of security. And I think that's where people are just comfortable just enough, getting enough to get by. And when things happen, the eruptions and disruptions happen like they are right now, that's when we start to see people hurt and start to see people scramble. So the last thing I want to leave with you guys is wealth and types of currencies, mindsets. The rich got rich because of practices, because of certain things like knowledge, experience. Maybe owning your own word is one of the big ones I have here. How are we supposed to learn how to do something without the knowledge? So once we get knowledge, we have to get the experience. And one of the greatest mindsets I see that scares me about people is that they're scared to screw things up. They're afraid to fail. And as long as you don't lose everything, you start off in small increments, you should fail. You're going to fail. That's how you get strong, and that's how you end up being experienced. And now you know what not to do on the next. There's a lot of different shortcuts that I hope that I'm sharing with you guys here today, getting you guys in the right mindset where you can look and say, I understand a little bit about this. And you've been inspired to go, hey, let's get out of this hole. We don't need to be sitting here. We have control of our own lives. Forms of wealth that you look at, the reason why a lot of people are millionaires, a lot of people make money is why? Because they have knowledge. And not only do they have knowledge, they applied that knowledge into experience. They have skills. And I think a lot of people who are looking to get rich quick, you're not going to be able to maintain it if you don't have the knowledge and the skills. And I think like one of the greatest forms of wealth that I can think of a currency, which you wouldn't imagine. This is what I want to drive into the mindset here, the message, is that having things like your word. I have some old-timer friends, and that's what they taught me, is own your word. Your word is everything. You really don't own anything else. All the money, all of the gold in the world, and all of these things that you have, your truck and things like that, when you die, or if everything was stripped from you, which they can be through natural disasters or a recession, very bad things, bad choices you made. But the one thing that you do have is all that knowledge and all that experience. But one of the biggest ones is your word. When you own your word and you go to get help from people, or you just want to do business with people and you have your word and you're known for that, the possibilities are limitless. So those are places of wealth that I look at, even if you're just starting out like myself, if you're starting out way behind, showing up on time, doing things when you say you're going to do them, walking the talk, talking the walk, but walking that talk too. You're going to get respect from people because there's very few of us out there that really own our word. So get out there, I think, start reading between the lines. If you're going to make money, if you want to get out of this from being middle class, if you want to get away from being poor, if you just want to be happy, we got to get the mindset first. We have to get knowledge and experience, and we need to own our word to ourselves too, I think, is a huge one. I think a lot of people, as I said, we look outwards and blame a lot of other people, but I think there's some people that don't even trust themselves. And I said it's completely apparent in taxation and tax season. Why is it during, that's how everything has been, to me, it's been exposed. Why is it every single year the economy takes a minor dip? If you own a business, you know this. If you're working for somebody, you probably don't even notice. A lot of our businesses, painting, roofing contractors, distribution, things like that, come to a slight halt. It just dips down. Why? Because nobody has money. Because people weren't thinking. They don't have control of themselves. They don't trust themselves. That's why some people have to use cash. When all the cash is gone, like a little kid, say, well, then we don't get no more food. We're going to eat beans and rice for dinner or something. They don't have the control to take a credit card and swipe it, make the payments, and keep their budget. They have to have something like cash, something like basically returning to Neanderthals, right? But that exposes the amount of people who are irresponsible, and I think that they don't even have the word to themselves to better their lives and to help themselves out. We dip. And I don't know about you guys, but I need truck tires, or if my roof was leaking or my plumbing was leaking, or there's a part I needed, I go buy it no matter whether it's April 15th. I guess, well, now we can say it's, the taxation got pushed forward, but this doesn't affect my life. But it affects my life when things slow down. And all I'm saying here is that a lot of people are irresponsible, and that's what we're experiencing, that's what we're seeing. And the question you have to ask yourself, are you going to be one of those people? Are you going to own your own word to yourself first before you gain the respect and the word of other people? So I hope I brought you guys some good experiences here today. I know some of it's dismal, but a lot of it, like I said, is positive. We just got to get the mindset, and we have to decide within ourselves, as each of us as individuals, are we going to get out of here and actually do something about it, or are we going to cry about it, Are we going to be still remain uneducated and watch inflation or deflation come in and completely just move our lives around? You guys got to understand, we're being led by the nose, like the hog ring, like a bull, a giant bull. They put a ring in its nose and they chain it to the floor. And when they pick up that chain, they can give leverage on that, and that bull's going to go anywhere that they tell it to. That's what's happening with the assets, as I explained to you guys. All of our lives, wherever those assets go, they deflate, inflate. If money moves, that pulls our economy with it. And we better damn well learn how to navigate with that. And the best thing I could say is become a producer, not a consumer. Guys, if you like this show and I brought you value, please like, subscribe, give me a review. The reviews is what's going to help get this channel, this show off the ground. I know it's a lot of work for you guys to do something like that, but it's a lot of work to make these shows. So please help me out if you want the show to continue to help me get it off the ground. So with that, Resilientlpodcast@gmail.com. It's in the descriptions below. Email me. Let me know what you guys think. We also have Resilient Living Podcast on Instagram now. You can check out some extra things you're not going to find here. And as we progress forward, if you guys are interested, I'll do some extra things on maybe Facebook and things like that. But I just need to hear from you guys and see how well this message goes out. So as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire and human up, my friends.